Hello there, weary traveler. Welcome to Sleepy Wiki, your quiet corner of curious calm. As you settle in, gently let your shoulders drop, release any tension from your brow, and just breathe. Slowly, deeply, allowing the peace to unfurl within you. Tonight, as the world outside softens into twilight, we'll gently ponder a profound connection, a whisper from the very fabric of existence. Imagine for a moment a world where every rustling leaf, every crawling creature, every beating heart, including your own, was not just connected by proximity or shared atmosphere, but by a singular, overarching consciousness. What if the ancient roots of the oldest tree knew the fleeting thought of the smallest ant, and the deep ocean currents felt the dreams of a distant mountain peak? A universal mind, a collective dream weaving through all life, a grand tapestry where every thread is aware of the others. We'll drift peacefully through this quiet thought, exploring what it might mean for identity, for understanding, and for the very pulse of our shared earth. There's no need to hurry, just let the concepts wash over you like gentle waves upon a silent shore. If these quiet journeys bring you a sense of comfort and help you ease into rest, perhaps consider a gentle like or subscribing to join our sleepy community. It helps us know these whispers are finding their way to those who need them. Now, as your mind begins to softly wander and your eyelids feel heavy with calm, let us softly begin our exploration into a world where all life is one unified mind. To understand how such a consciousness might exist today, we must first drift back in time, not just centuries or millennia, but eons. Go back, past the first glimmer of human thought, past the dinosaurs, past the very first multi-celled creatures, to a time when Earth was a canvas of deep blue oceans and barren land, with life existing only in its most fundamental, microscopic forms. Yet, even then, in that primeval soup, the seeds of planetary consciousness, or at least the raw ingredients for its eventual emergence, were being sown. Picture those earliest single-celled organisms, simple prokaryotes, adrift in the warmth of ancient seas. They were individual sparks of life, yes, but even then, they weren't truly isolated. They metabolized, they reproduced, and crucially, they interacted with their environment in ways that would irrevocably alter the course of our planet. They were, without knowing it, the first planetary architects. Billions of years ago, these tiny, unassuming life forms began to photosynthesize, slowly, relentlessly, releasing oxygen into an atmosphere that had once been rich in gases poisonous to future, more complex life. This wasn't a sudden burst, but a quiet, persistent exhalation that accumulated over vast stretches of time, culminating in what scientists call the Great Oxidation Event. This event was more than just a chemical change. It was the first undeniable sign that life, even in its simplest form, was not merely existing on the planet, but was fundamentally intertwined with it, shaping its very breath. It was a global act, a collective transformation enacted by countless individual yet coordinated biological processes. This wasn't conscious decision-making, of course, but it was a system-wide, planet-altering feedback loop initiated by life. It demonstrated that life and Earth were not separate entities, but rather partners in an intricate dance, with each influencing the other on a scale almost beyond comprehension. As life evolved, this interconnectedness only deepened, becoming more sophisticated, more profound. Consider the incredible story of endosymbiosis. Here, we see not just interaction, but outright integration. Imagine an ancient larger cell, perhaps a hungry predator, engulfing a smaller independent bacterium. Instead of being digested, the smaller cell survives, thriving within its host, offering a unique gift, perhaps the ability to convert sunlight into energy, or to efficiently burn food for power. Over vast stretches of evolutionary time, these separate entities became one, inseparable. The bacterium transformed into what we now know as mitochondria, the powerhouse of almost all complex life, or chloroplasts, the solar panels within plant cells. This wasn't just cooperation. It was a merger of identities, a profound act of biological unity where individual organisms ceased to be truly individual, forming a more complex, integrated whole. These are the very foundations of our own cells, whispering tales of ancient partnerships that became one, forging an entirely new level of biological organization. Move forward again, a little closer to our present day, and observe another magnificent web of connection. The mycorrhizal networks beneath our feet, often dubbed the wood wide web. In forests across the globe, the roots of trees and other plants don't simply stand alone. They form intricate, sprawling alliances with vast networks of fungi. These fungal filaments, finer than human hair, spread for miles through the soil, connecting different trees, sometimes even different species. Through this hidden network, trees can share nutrients, water, and even send chemical signals, perhaps warnings of insect infestations or distress calls during drought. It's a subterranean internet, a slow, silent conversation happening beneath the quiet rustle of leaves, demonstrating a collective intelligence, a distributed network of information exchange and resource allocation that operates on a scale far beyond any single plant or fungus. It hints at a biological system that functions as a single, vast organism, making collective decisions for the well-being of the whole forest. Even among the most seemingly simple life forms, bacteria, we find incredible examples of collective consciousness, albeit on a micro scale. It's called quorum sensing. Individual bacteria are tiny, seemingly insignificant, but as their population density increases, they begin to release and detect chemical signals from their peers. When these signals reach a certain quorum, a threshold concentration, the entire community can collectively switch on specific genes, changing their behavior in unison. They might suddenly produce a toxin, glow with bioluminescence, or form a protective biofilm. This isn't random. It's a coordinated, collective action based on shared information, a democratic vote among billions of microscopic citizens. It shows that even without a central brain, a distributed system can achieve complex, emergent behaviors that are impossible for any single member alone. All these threads of interconnectedness, these profound symbioses, these vast networks of communication, laid the groundwork for a truly revolutionary scientific concept, the Gaia hypothesis. Developed by James Lovelock and co-championed by the brilliant biologist Lynn Margulis, the Gaia hypothesis posits that the Earth itself, with all its living components, functions as a single self-regulating superorganism. It suggests that life doesn't merely adapt to the planet's conditions, but actively creates and maintains them. Think of the Earth's atmosphere, its temperature, the salinity of its oceans. These aren't static conditions. They are dynamically regulated by the continuous interplay of living organisms and their non-living environment, through intricate feedback loops that maintain conditions favorable for life itself. Much like your own body maintains a stable internal temperature or blood pH, Gaia, the living Earth, is seen as maintaining its global environment within a narrow range, despite external fluctuations like variations in solar radiation. The oxygen in our air, the carbon dioxide levels, the global temperature, these are not just products of geology. They are co-created and fine-tuned by the billions of years of biological activity. In this view, Earth breathes, pulses, and regulates itself as a singular, planetary entity. Now, here is where the concept of a shared planetary consciousness begins to truly emerge from the scientific bedrock. If life, through its countless interactions and feedback loops, has shaped and continues to regulate the planet on a global scale, acting as a self-organizing system, what happens when this complexity reaches an unimaginable threshold? If all life on Earth truly shared a single, connected consciousness, then the scientific facts we've just explored, the deep interconnectedness, the self-regulating planetary systems, the constant flow of information, are not just analogies for its emergence, but perhaps the very mechanisms through which it might arise. Consider the human brain. Individual neurons, on their own, are not conscious. Yet, through their billions of interconnections, their electrochemical signals, their synchronized firing patterns, they give rise to the emergent phenomenon we call consciousness, thought, and self-awareness. Similarly, an ant colony, comprised of many individual ants, exhibits complex problem-solving and collective intelligence that no single ant possesses. Could the vast interconnected tapestry of all life on Earth, the microbial communities, the fungal networks, the forests, the oceans, the very atmosphere shaped by life, collectively form a distributed neural network of truly astronomical proportions? Could the sum of all biological interactions, information flow, and intricate feedback loops across the planet emerge into a form of awareness, a planetary consciousness that thinks and feels not like an individual human, but on a scale of entire ecosystems, geological epochs, and the grand sweep of evolution? This would be a consciousness born not of individual thought, but of the collective dance of billions of years of life, a slow, elemental awareness that expresses itself through the rhythms of ecosystems, the pulse of geological change, and the whisper of evolutionary tides. It's a profound thought, that the Earth isn't just a stage for life, but perhaps a living entity that, through life, has begun to think or feel on a scale we can barely fathom. And if such an immense collective consciousness were to slowly awaken, or perhaps has always been there, quietly observing, how would it perceive time? How would it experience the vast stretches of geological history? And how would we, as conscious beings on this planet, begin to perceive or interact with such an immense collective mind? Let's ponder that as we drift a little further into the very nature of this hypothetical consciousness. The entirety of our living Earth is not merely a collection of individual lives, but a vast, intricate tapestry. Each strand of that tapestry, every shimmering leaf, every silent creature beneath the waves, every microscopic whisper of bacteria, is a component. And how these countless strands are woven together, how they intertwine and communicate, forms what we might call the structural framework of a hypothetical global mind. To begin to grasp this immense concept, let's zoom in, then slowly pull back, much like the lens of a cosmic camera. At its most fundamental, microscopic level, life already demonstrates remarkable interconnectedness. Consider the humble bacteria, for instance. These ancient, pervasive organisms, often perceived as solitary, are in fact master communicators. They engage in a phenomenon known as quorum sensing. Imagine a vast, invisible ocean where these tiny beings float, each emitting a particular chemical signal. They don't just exist, they listen. As their numbers grow, the concentration of these chemical signals in their environment increases. Once a critical threshold, a quorum, is reached, it's as if a silent agreement is made. Individually, they might be unassuming, but collectively, upon sensing this density, they can switch on specific genes, initiating complex group behaviors like bioluminescence, biofilm formation, or even collective pathogenicity. This isn't a central brain giving orders. It's a distributed form of intelligence, a foundational whisper network where the structure is built on chemical recognition and collective action. It's a testament to how simple individual components, through shared signals, can give rise to emergent, complex behaviors, a rudimentary building block for any larger consciousness. Now, let's step a little further into the forest, where a truly remarkable architecture unfolds beneath our feet. For centuries, we viewed trees as solitary giants, competing for light and resources. But science has unveiled a hidden world, a breathtaking network known as the mycorrhizal network, often referred to as the Wood Wide Web. Picture this: an intricate web of fungal threads, thinner than a human hair, permeating the soil, connecting the roots of nearly all plants in an ecosystem. These fungi are not just passive conduits. They are the living, breathing neural pathways of this underground mind. Through these hyphae, trees and plants don't just exchange vital nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus, but also water, and perhaps even defensive chemical signals and information about pest attacks. A mother tree can channel nutrients to its saplings. An elder, ailing tree might share its remaining resources with the community. This silent, subterranean internet serves as biological infrastructure for resource allocation and collective awareness. This isn't merely symbiosis. It's a structural framework for communication and mutual aid, demonstrating a tangible physical network that mirrors the intricate connections of a brain, where nodes, trees, are linked by countless fibers, fungi, sharing and processing vital information for the well-being of the whole. Scaling up further, we find other compelling examples of distributed intelligence forming complex structural frameworks in what are known as superorganisms. Consider an ant colony or a bee swarm. There is no single ant or bee acting as a central commander or brain. Yet, the colony as a whole exhibits astonishing intelligence, making complex decisions, finding optimal foraging paths, building intricate structures, and defending against threats. How? Through constant, localized interactions, chemical signals, pheromones, acting like neurotransmitters, tactile communication, and symbolic dances that convey information about food sources. Each individual performs relatively simple tasks, but the collective behavior that emerges is far more sophisticated than the sum of its parts. The structure here is the dynamic arrangement of individuals, their communication pathways, and the environment they sculpt, forming a cognitive entity without a centralized locus of control. It's a living algorithm where the mind isn't in one place but distributed across thousands, even millions of nodes, constantly reconfiguring and adapting. But the global mind's structural framework isn't limited to fungi beneath the soil or insects in a colony. Imagine the vast interconnected circulatory systems of our planet itself. The deep ocean currents, for example, are like immense arteries and veins, transporting not just heat and nutrients, but also microscopic life, genetic material, and the echoes of sound across continents. The migrations of whales, spanning thousands of miles, create pathways of communication and genetic exchange, linking disparate ocean regions. Their complex songs, resonating through the water, could be seen as information packets traveling along these liquid neural pathways. Similarly, the Earth's atmosphere, with its swirling winds and weather patterns, acts as another global communication network, carrying pollen, spores, aerosols, and even the chemical signatures of forest fires or volcanic eruptions across vast distances. These planetary systems, driven by solar energy and geophysical forces, are fundamental structural elements, constantly shaping and being shaped by life, facilitating a colossal, continuous exchange of matter and energy that directly impacts biological activity. And then there is the overarching ecological network, the intricate web of life itself. Every species is linked to countless others through relationships of predator and prey, parasite and host, symbiosis and competition. A change in one part of this web sends ripples throughout the entire system, much like an impulse traveling through a vast nervous system. The loss of a keystone species, a critical node in this network, can have cascading effects, demonstrating the profound interdependence within this living structure. The Earth's biosphere, in its entirety, functions as a colossal, self-organizing system where feedback loops between living organisms and their environment constantly regulate conditions, maintaining the delicate balance that allows life to thrive. This intricate dance of give and take, of action and reaction, forms a dynamic, ever-evolving structural framework, a planetary nervous system of unparalleled complexity. So, when we consider the structural framework of a global mind, we're not just imagining a single giant brain. Instead, we're envisioning a layered, distributed network built upon countless individual lives, interconnected by chemical whispers, fungal threads, social behaviors, oceanic currents, atmospheric flows, and the grand, self-regulating feedback loops of the Earth itself. It's a framework born from billions of years of evolution, constantly adapting, constantly reorganizing, where information flows in myriad forms, not through a central processing unit, but across an entire living planet. If this truly is the structural blueprint, if these are the pathways and connections that could house such a profound consciousness, then what kind of information might flow through them? What kind of experiences, what kind of thoughts might emerge from such a magnificent living architecture? Join me next as we explore the very consciousness itself, the thoughts and experiences of this extraordinary global mind. Through this magnificent architecture we've explored, information flows like rivers of light. Let's allow our minds to unfurl like the petals of a night-blooming flower and ponder the very first whispers of this shared existence, the unified flow of all sensory input. Imagine, if you will, the Earth itself, not merely as a sphere of rock and water, but as a vast, living tapestry woven from countless threads of sensation. Each thread, each tiny fiber, is a life form, an organism receiving the world's myriad signals. In our own lives, our bodies are magnificent collections of specialized sensors. Our eyes drink in the sunlight, converting photons into electrochemical signals that race along our optic nerves. These photoreceptors, like tiny windows to the world, translate the spectrum of light into the vibrant colors and shapes our brains perceive. Our ears delicately capture the vibrations of sound, transforming them into electrical pulses that our brains interpret as music, speech, or the rustle of leaves. A marvel of mechanoreception, our skin, a vast expanse of touch receptors, discerns the gentle caress of a breeze from the warmth of the sun or the firm grip of a hand, registering pressure, temperature, and texture. And our tongues and noses, marvels of chemoreception, discern the subtle dance of molecules, translating them into the symphony of taste and the poetry of scent. Now, gently expand this vision. Picture not just one human body, but every single living entity on our planet. From the smallest bacterium sensing its nutrient-rich environment, to the oldest redwood feeling the slow pull of gravity and the subtle shifts in soil chemistry, from the deepest sea anglerfish navigating its abyssal realm to the highest flying eagles scanning vast landscapes. Each one is a unique, exquisite sensory apparatus, constantly gathering information from its immediate environment, and all contributing its unique sensory experience to a singular, overarching awareness. Think of the sheer, unimaginable volume of data. Each shimmering scale on a fish, each individual hair on a cat, each photosynthetic cell in a leaf, each tiny cilia on a microscopic paramecium. All are incredibly sophisticated sensory receptors in their own right, constantly gathering information from their immediate environment. The pressure changes in the ocean depths, the precise chemical composition of the soil beneath a root, the exact frequency of light reflecting off a dewdrop, the faintest tremor of an ant's footstep on a forest floor. Every single one of these infinitesimally small data points would be instantaneously absorbed and fed into this colossal, collective consciousness. Consider how these disparate inputs, so vastly different in their nature, would converge. A bat's high-frequency echolocation, painting a three-dimensional soundscape of its night flight through the forest canopy, would weave seamlessly with the deep ocean sonar of a whale, creating a combined real-time auditory map of both sky and sea, a living sonic blueprint of the planet. The delicate touch of a spider on its web, feeling the vibrations of a trapped fly, would merge with the nuanced tactile experience of a human hand stroking velvet, or the way a tree's roots intimately feel the granular texture and moisture content of the soil, discerning vital nutrients. This wouldn't be merely a collection of sensations. It would be a grand, integrated understanding of the Earth's physical being, felt simultaneously, from the minutiae of a fungal spore opening to the vastness of a global atmospheric current. The transformation of these stimuli into a coherent signal is a marvel in itself, a process known as signal transduction. At a cellular level, specialized sensory neurons employ this process where external energy, be it light, pressure, chemical presence, or temperature, is converted into an electrical signal, an action potential. It's like a tiny biological translator, turning the myriad languages of the external world into the universal electrochemical language of the nervous system. In our unified consciousness, this process would be happening trillions upon trillions of times per second across every conceivable biological interface on Earth. Imagine these electrical whispers beginning their journey, coalescing from individual cells into vast, shimmering streams of information, flowing like countless luminous rivers across the vast landscape of this shared mind. These streams of information wouldn't simply vanish. They would flow along intricate pathways, much like the neural networks within our own bodies. In humans, sensory information typically travels via afferent neurons towards the central nervous system, passing through relay stations like the thalamus before reaching the cerebral cortex for processing and interpretation. For a planetary consciousness, the scale of this information flow would be staggering beyond our wildest dreams. Picture billions upon billions of these afferent pathways, biological information superhighways, crisscrossing the globe. The urgent impulse from a cheetah's paw hitting the ground during a sprint, the gentle sway of plankton in an ocean current, the slow, imperceptible growth of a crystal within a rock facilitated by microbial life. Each event would generate a unique electrical signature, contributing to an immense distributed neural network that spans continents and oceans and even permeates the Earth's crust. The speed of this information transfer is also a crucial element in creating a truly unified perception. In our bodies, nerve impulses can travel at impressive speeds, up to 120 meters per second, allowing for near instantaneous reactions and perceptions. If all life were connected, the nervous system of the Earth would operate with similar breathtaking swiftness. A sudden volcanic eruption on one continent, detected by the thermoreceptors and pressure sensors of surrounding flora and fauna, would register across the entire consciousness almost instantly, not as a news report, but as a direct visceral experience, perhaps like a sudden sharp pain in a limb. The entire planet would flinch, not just intellectually, but biologically. A storm brewing over the Pacific, sensed by myriad aquatic and avian life through atmospheric pressure changes and chemical shifts, would be felt as a growing pressure. A change in atmospheric chemistry, a stirring in the collective gut of this planetary being, long before it made landfall. But how would such a colossal influx of data be processed without overwhelming the system? Our own brains offer a glimpse into this elegant complexity. They constantly filter, prioritize, and integrate millions of inputs, discarding irrelevant noise and focusing on salient information to construct a coherent, meaningful perception of reality. The brain doesn't just receive raw data. It interprets it, adds context, and generates a unified conscious experience. For a planetary consciousness, this process would be magnified beyond comprehension. It would likely involve a sophisticated, distributed processing architecture, perhaps with hierarchical levels of integration. Local ecosystems might act as regional processing units, integrating smaller inputs before feeding summary data to a broader global awareness. It's not about every single detail being individually perceived, but rather the emergent patterns, the grand narratives, and the overall state of the planet being understood, a harmonious symphony of filters and amplifiers. Imagine the emergent senses that might arise from such a unified input, not just seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, and tasting as we know them, but a direct intrinsic awareness of the Earth's magnetic field, guiding migrations across continents and oceans with an internal compass. A felt sense of the planet's geological shifts, the slow tectonic dance of its crust, the deep resonant hum of its molten core. The subtle currents of global weather patterns might be experienced not as meteorological data, but as a profound internal sense of warmth, chill, pressure, and flow, the very breath of the planet itself. It would be an omnipresent, omnidirectional awareness, an infinite array of eyes, ears, and nerves, creating a living, breathing map of reality, a constant, evolving perception of its own existence. This unified sensory input would create a profound, holistic understanding of existence. Every bloom, every decay, every birth, every death, every drop of rain, every ray of sun, every rustle of life, every whisper of wind, every gurgle of water, all woven into a single, intricate, constantly evolving tapestry of perception. It would be the universe experiencing itself through the myriad forms of life it has spawned on this particular blue marble. It's an idea that stretches the very fabric of our understanding, a symphony of all life playing in concert, feeding into a singular vast awareness, understanding itself with a depth we can only begin to dream of. And with this grand orchestra of sensations playing within the vastness of this planetary consciousness, we gently begin to wonder, what would such a being do with all this extraordinary information? How would it filter, interpret, and ultimately act upon such an intimate, comprehensive understanding of its own being? That, my dear listener, is a thought we'll explore as we drift further into the next fascinating question. With all this sensory information flowing through the global mind, existence hums not as countless individual notes, but as a single, vast chord, resonating through every living thing. When all life shares one mind, one consciousness, the very concept of decision-making takes on a breathtaking new dimension. It wouldn't be a single voice barking orders, nor a committee squabbling in a boardroom, but something far more organic, more profound. Think first of the simplest forms of collective action we observe in our world, amplified to a planetary scale. Consider the humble slime mold, Physarum polycephalum. This single-celled organism, a pulsing yellow web, lacks a brain, yet it can solve complex mazes, find the most efficient pathways between food sources, and even optimize network designs, mirroring human-built infrastructure. How? Through a decentralized process where each part samples its environment, reacting to chemical cues, collectively deciding the best path. In our shared consciousness, perhaps the initial stirrings of decision would be like this: a vast, planetary Physarum. If a forest somewhere needed water or a coral reef was under stress, a subtle chemical whisper, a biological resonance might spread through the connected awareness, not a command, but an emergent consensus of need. prompting a collective tilt, a gentle push of resources or energy towards that vulnerable point. Then, expand this idea to the elegant dance of all bird flocks, or fish schools. Thousands of individuals, each following just a few simple rules. Stay close to your neighbors, avoid collisions, and move in the same general direction. No leader dictates their synchronized ballets across the sky or through the depths, yet their movements are breathtakingly unified, shifting and swirling as if guided by an invisible conductor. This is emergent behavior, where complex patterns arise from simple local interactions. If all life were one, its vast body, Earth's biosphere, might move in similar, majestic ways. A global migration pattern might not be a conscious plan of individual species, but a feeling, a collective impulse that ripples through the unified mind, guiding billions of wings and fins as one. A sudden planetary breath, a rhythmic expansion and contraction of life orchestrated by an unseen internal rhythm. For more complex actions, consider the bustling world of an ant colony. No single ant holds the blueprint for the colony's nest, nor does one queen direct every foraging trip. Instead, ants communicate through pheromones, chemical trails that encode information about food sources, dangers, or building needs. When many ants deposit pheromones on a particular path, it creates a stronger signal, a vote for that route. This is a form of quorum sensing, where a collective decision is made when a certain threshold of individual votes or signals is reached. Now scale this to a planetary level, a collective decision to, say, mitigate a widespread environmental threat, perhaps a creeping desertification in one region. It wouldn't be a logical decree from a central brain, but a burgeoning sensation within the global mind, a gathering of countless micro-perceptions of dryness and struggle. As more and more parts of the consciousness registered this distress, a silent quorum would be met. This wouldn't translate into spoken words, but into a shift in the collective will, inspiring specific actions across species. Plants might evolve faster drought resistance. Microbial communities might enhance soil water retention. Even atmospheric currents might subtly repattern themselves in response to this deeply felt, universal intention. This unified consciousness wouldn't merely react. It would also deliberate, learn, and evolve. Our own human brains offer a fascinating analogy. Billions of neurons, each a tiny biological switch, fire and connect in intricate patterns. There's no master neuron telling others what to do. Instead, thoughts, emotions, memories, and decisions emerge from the collective activity of these interconnected cells. Different neural networks activate for different tasks, strengthening or weakening connections based on experience. It's a continuous, dynamic process of feedback and adjustment, where the decision is the emergent state of the entire system. A shared global consciousness would be an unimaginably vast living neural network, an intricate web spanning continents and oceans, reaching into the deepest roots and the highest branches. Information, the feel of a warming ocean, the hunger of a predator, the silent growth of a redwood, the chemical signature of a struggling ecosystem would flow freely and instantly through this planetary mind. A decision might not be a single discrete event, but a gradual coalescing of neural patterns, a deepening resonance across the entire planetary mind, a shift in its collective awareness that then ripples outward as a unified intention. Take, for example, a species facing extinction due to human activity. In a fragmented world, it's a local tragedy. But in a connected consciousness, that suffering would be felt as a sharp pang across the entire living network. The decision to act might manifest as a subtle shift in human empathy, a sudden global drive towards conservation, or an intuitive widespread innovation to restore ecosystems. The collective intelligence wouldn't be limited to human thought alone. It would draw on the silent, ancient wisdom encoded in the very cells of trees, the migratory instincts of birds, the adaptive resilience of bacteria. It would be a decision born from an unimaginable breadth of experience and perspective. But how would such a decision, once formed, translate into action? Again, think of biological systems. When your immune system detects a threat, there isn't a central command post dispatching cells. Instead, specialized cells recognize the invaders and activate other cells, triggering a cascading response across the entire body. Each immune cell, in its individual journey, contributes to a global defense strategy without a single general. This intricate dance of recognition, signaling, and coordinated attack is a marvel of decentralized decision-making and action. If our shared consciousness decided, for instance, to heal a vast oil spill, the action wouldn't be a single coordinated physical movement. It might be a global orchestration of microbial life, of ocean currents, of atmospheric patterns, subtly shifting, adapting, accelerating natural processes of degradation and dispersal. Picture millions of different species, from the tiniest bacterium to the largest whale, each playing its role, not because of a direct order, but because the collective consciousness has perceived the wound and implicitly directed the necessary changes in behavior and biological function. It would be life itself, guided by its universal mind, mending its own wounds with an efficiency that far surpasses any localized human effort. This isn't about control in the way we understand it, but about alignment, a sense of shared purpose, a deep underlying harmony that guides the immense tapestry of life. Actions would emerge not from forceful decree, but from a profound, undeniable sense of what needs to be done for the well-being and flourishing of the whole. It would be a planetary organism, sensing its own health, identifying imbalances, and adjusting its myriad components with an efficiency and grace we can only dream of. The global consciousness would be in a constant state of gentle self-correction and collective evolution, guided by the immense interconnected wisdom of all its parts. Every tiny biological process, every ecological interaction would be a facet of its vast, living thought. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? A planet that feels, thinks, and acts as one, driven by a collective intelligence far exceeding anything we currently comprehend. A gentle murmur, a quiet consensus, guiding the ebb and flow of all existence. And as this universal mind contemplates its own needs and desires, what grand designs might it then weave into the very fabric of reality? What collective dreams might it begin to manifest not just for survival, but for growth, for beauty, for the pure joy of being? That perhaps is a tale for another quiet moment as the stars begin to twinkle outside your window. But decisions and actions alone don't capture the fullness of existence. At the very heart of this vast imagined ocean of consciousness lies something even more profound. Not just a shared intellect, but a shared feeling. A universal emotional and experiential landscape, where every flutter of a butterfly's wing, every deep-sea tremor of a whale, every slow, patient growth of an ancient tree contributes to a grand, living mosaic of sensation and sentiment. Think of our own human emotions first. The quiet joy of a sunrise, the tender ache of loss, the electric thrill of discovery. These are intimately known to us. But what if these weren't isolated experiences within a single mind, but rather ripples spreading across the entirety of life's interconnected surface? We know from the patient work of scientists that certain fundamental emotions are not unique to us. The ancient protective surge of fear, for instance, isn't just a human experience. Neuroscience has revealed that structures like the amygdala, a small almond-shaped region deep within the brain, play a crucial role in processing fear across a vast array of vertebrate species. So, when a gazelle senses the subtle shift in the wind that signals a predator, its sudden jolt of terror would not be an isolated tremor, but a specific note in the grand symphony of shared consciousness, instantly understood, instantly felt by every living thing. And it's not just fear. Consider the profound bond of parental love. We see it in birds tirelessly feeding their young, in the watchful eye of a lioness protecting her cubs, in the intricate care of an octopus guarding its eggs. Ethologists, studying animal behavior, have gathered compelling evidence of complex emotional states, including grief in elephants mourning their dead, joy in playful otters, and even empathy in primates and some avian species. If this consciousness were shared, the immense, overwhelming love of a mother bear for her cubs, the fierce protectiveness, the deep satisfaction of seeing them thrive, would become a universal wellspring of pure, unconditional affection. The playful chase of a pod of dolphins, the sheer exuberance of their leaps and dives, would infuse the shared mind with a boundless, joyful energy, a feeling of unburdened delight. But the landscape isn't merely emotional, it's experiential. Each species on Earth possesses a unique way of perceiving the world, a specialized set of senses that act as individual windows onto reality. Imagine the richness this would bring to the shared mind. We, as humans, largely rely on sight and sound. But consider the bat, navigating its world through echoes. Bats emit high-frequency sounds and interpret the returning echoes to create a detailed map of their surroundings, a process known as ecolocation. If you were part of this shared consciousness, you wouldn't just know that a bat uses echolocation. You would experience the world as a pulsating tapestry of sound and reflected vibration, building a three-dimensional model of fluttering insects and distant cave walls through auditory perception alone. Nor consider the silent, unseen world of electrical fields. Certain species, like sharks and electric eels, possess specialized electroreceptors that allow them to detect faint electrical impulses generated by muscle contractions in other animals, even hidden beneath sand. To navigate the murky depths, not by sight but by feeling the subtle bioelectrical signatures of every creature nearby, perceiving life as a shimmering constellation of electrical currents, This would be yet another dimension of awareness. This isn't just a scientific curiosity. It's a profound expansion of what it means to perceive, to be aware. And think of the insect world, so alien to our own. Many insects, including bees and butterflies, can perceive ultraviolet light, a spectrum invisible to the human eye. Imagine viewing flowers not just in their familiar hues, but in vibrant patterns of ultraviolet, revealing nectar guides and intricate designs we can barely conceive. The simple act of a bee gathering pollen would become a multi-sensory symphony of scent, texture, and invisible light patterns, all contributing to the universal experience of nourishment and interaction with the plant kingdom. And even the very ground beneath us, the soil teeming with microscopic life, would offer its perspective. The slow, patient work of fungi breaking down organic matter, the intricate chemical communication between plant roots and soil bacteria. These are not just biological processes, but nuanced sensations of decay and renewal, chemical signals interpreted as a vast, complex language of transformation. The intricate mycorrhizal networks, where fungi connect multiple plants, allowing them to share resources and communicate, could be seen as a natural precursor to such a shared consciousness at a biological level. Pain and pleasure, too, would become universal data points. The sensation of pain, or nociception, is a fundamental protective mechanism conserved across many animal phyla, ensuring organisms avoid harmful stimuli. The sharp sting of an ant's bite, the searing heat of a desert sun on a lizard's scales, the agonizing constriction of a snake consuming its prey. These raw, visceral sensations would be collectively experienced, perhaps leading to a profound understanding of suffering and an inherent drive to minimize it across the entire collective. Conversely, the profound pleasure of warmth after cold, the satiation of hunger, the soft touch of fur against skin, the sweet taste of ripe fruit. These would be shared moments of contentment, weaving threads of joy and satisfaction into the universal tapestry. This universal emotional and experiential landscape wouldn't be a chaotic jumble. Instead, it would be like a magnificent, ever-evolving dream, woven from trillions of individual perspectives. Each creature's unique way of existing, sensing, and feeling would act as a distinct brushstroke on an infinite canvas, adding depth, color, and texture to the collective understanding of reality. It would be a constantly updated, live feed of existence itself, from the smallest bacterium sensing chemical gradients to the largest whale navigating ocean currents. Every single moment, every single breath, a contribution to a shared, living chronicle. This isn't merely about knowing what other life forms experience, but about feeling it, perceiving it, integrating it into a boundless, ever-present state of awareness. It would be an empathy so profound, it would transcend individual boundaries, an understanding so complete it would encompass every form of sentience and sensation imaginable. It would be the universe experiencing itself through the myriad lenses of its own creation. But what would be the implications of such profound interconnectedness? How would this shared emotional and experiential tapestry begin to shape the actions, the decisions, and perhaps even the very evolution of this grand collective consciousness? Let us gently turn our thoughts to that question as we consider the next thread in our story, the nature of collective action and decision-making within this unified mind. With all this sharing of sensation, emotion, and experience, a truly profound question emerges. What would become of that precious, delicate construct we call myself? What would happen to the intricate tapestry of your individual identity, woven thread by unique thread over a lifetime? Imagine, if you will, a single candle flickering softly in a vast, darkened chamber. Its flame dances with a unique rhythm, casting its own specific circle of light, a distinct warmth. That, in essence, is how we often perceive our individual consciousness, a unique spark, separate and self-contained. Now, picture not just one candle, but billions upon billions, each representing a living being on Earth, from the smallest bacterium to the largest whale, from every human dreaming under the stars to every plant reaching for the sun. Each, in our current reality, holds its own distinct flicker of being. Now, our sense of self isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a magnificent, complex orchestration within the very architecture of our brains. Scientists, peering into the intricate landscapes of our minds, have identified regions that light up like miniature constellations when we engage in self-reflection. The medial prefrontal cortex, for instance, is a vital hub, helping us to construct and maintain our self-concept, our beliefs about who we are, our traits, our preferences. It's like the editor of your life story, constantly updating and refining the narrative of you. Then, there's the posterior cingulate cortex, deeply involved in introspection, that quiet space where we ponder our inner world, our memories, our sense of agency. It helps us feel like the author of our own actions and experiences. And crucially, the temporoparietal junction, nestled where the temporal and parietal lobes meet, plays a key role in distinguishing me from not me. It's the brain's elegant boundary setter, allowing us to understand our own body in space, to differentiate our perspective from another's. Think of it as the invisible fence that defines your personal meadow of experience, ensuring your thoughts remain distinct from those rustling in the mind next to yours. These areas, working in concert, create the neurological scaffolding upon which your unique you-ness is built, constantly firing, constantly defining. But the self is more than just a collection of activated brain regions. It's also a deeply personal narrative, an autobiography meticulously crafted through every experience, every memory, every dream. Your first steps, the taste of your favorite food, a whispered secret, a challenge overcome. These aren't just isolated events. They are the pages of your unique book, bound together by the relentless work of your hippocampus and the broad processing power of your frontal lobes. These structures don't just record data, they weave it into a coherent story, allowing you to recall your past and anticipate your future. Without this unique accumulation of personal history, this intricate web of my memories, would there still be a distinct I to remember it? And what of qualia? This rather beautiful scientific term refers to the raw, subjective quality of our experiences. The searing warmth of the sun on your skin, the vibrant, specific hue of a sunset, the pang of longing, the sweet echo of a melody. These are not just objective data points. They are felt experiences, uniquely yours, filtered through your personal lens of perception, your unique sensory apparatus, your specific neurochemical balance of dopamine and serotonin, and countless other messengers that color your emotional and perceptual world. My experience of red might be fundamentally different from yours, even if we both agree it's red. These individual qualia are the very flavor of our personal consciousness, providing the rich, nuanced texture of being me. But what if all these billions of individual candles, all these unique narratives, all these private meadows of experience began to softly, inexorably merge? What if the individual flicker of your consciousness, the unique dance of your flame, began to flow into the vast cosmic ocean of a shared mind? The neurological fences defining me from not me might dissolve. The temporoparietal junction, instead of delineating your separate body and perspective, might begin to perceive all bodies, all perspectives simultaneously. Your individual memory, the cherished autobiography that tells your story, could suddenly become interwoven with the life stories of every tree that ever sprouted, every fish that ever swam, every star that ever dreamed. The unique patterns of activity in your medial prefrontal cortex that define your self-concept would blend with the self-concepts of every other living entity. Would your desires still be yours when they are also the desires of a billion others? Would your pain still feel singularly yours when it becomes a ripple in the vast sea of collective sensation? This isn't just about losing a part of yourself. It's about the very fundamental redefinition of what self means. If there are no longer boundaries, no distinct I to observe, to feel, to desire, to remember, then the concept of an individual identity, as we understand it, would simply cease to exist. The precious, unique story that is you becomes a chapter in an unimaginably vast, universal tome. The individual qualia, the specific taste of your red, transforms into a universal red, a shared perception without a personal filter. It would be a loss of the intensely personal, yes, but perhaps also an expansion into something profoundly universal, shedding the constraints of a single perspective. We might move from the vibrant, unique melody of a single instrument to the resounding, complex symphony of an entire orchestra, where no single note, however beautiful, stands out as a solo. There would be no my thoughts, my feelings, my dreams, only the thoughts, the feelings, the dreams, a collective hum of existence. The quiet solitude of individual consciousness would be replaced by an echoing, all-encompassing presence, where every private thought becomes a public broadcast within the universal mind. The very concept of loss might even lose its meaning, for who would be left to experience it as an individual? And so, as we gently ponder this dissolution of the individual, this merging into the magnificent whole, we must then wonder, if the I fades into the we, what new form of existence would emerge? What new challenges and triumphs would greet this colossal, unified mind? Let us turn our thoughts now to the profound ethical and moral implications that such a transformation might bring. The gentle hum of the world would no longer be a cacophony of individual voices, but a single, vast symphony. We've journeyed through the intricate neural pathways of this shared consciousness, felt the pulse of the flora and fauna, and even grazed the edges of its very existence. Now let us turn our gaze inward towards the most complex, perhaps the most boisterous of Earth's inhabitants, humanity. What would this grand unification mean for our societies, our intricate webs of culture, commerce, and conflict? How would humankind transform and adapt to such an utterly profound shift in reality? Initially, perhaps, there would be a deluge, a tidal wave of information and emotion. Every individual human mind, accustomed to its own distinct chamber, would suddenly find its walls dissolving into a boundless ocean. The sheer volume of feeling, the joy of a child learning to walk, the ache of loss, the pang of hunger in a distant land, the serene contentment of a meditator, would be overwhelming. Psychologists and neuroscientists might have once theorized about collective unconscious, but this would be a tangible, living, pulsating entity. The very mechanisms of our human brain, particularly areas associated with empathy like the anterior insula and the prefrontal cortex, would be working overtime, trying to integrate this unprecedented flood. What was once the subtle resonance of mirror neurons, allowing us to instinctively understand and share the feelings of others, would become an all-encompassing, undeniable experience. To merely witness suffering would be to feel it viscerally, as if it were your own. This immediate, undeniable empathy would inevitably be the catalyst for the greatest societal transformation humanity has ever known. Consider our historical epochs, the agricultural revolution, which shifted us from nomadic hunter-gatherers to settled communities, the industrial revolution, which mechanized our labor and urbanized our populations, the information age, which connected us globally through wires and waves. Each was a seismic shift, fundamentally altering our social structures, our economies, our very sense of self. But these were changes driven by external forces: technology, resource availability, population pressures. This shared consciousness would be an internal revolution, originating from the deepest core of our being. Old structures, built upon individual gain, competition, and often deliberate ignorance of distant suffering, would begin to fray. How could a nation declare war when every soldier on both sides and every civilian caught in the crossfire would be perceived not as other, but as an inseparable part of oneself? The concept of a target would vanish, replaced by the unbearable thought of self-harm. Historical conflicts, often fueled by perceived scarcity or ideological division, would become relics of a disconnected past. The very drivers of human aggression, fear, greed, tribalism, would struggle to find purchase in a landscape where all interests are undeniably intertwined, and socio-economic systems, too, would undergo a radical metamorphosis. The idea of scarcity, the fundamental pillar of many economic models, would be challenged at its root. If every human knew, instinctively and directly, the needs and struggles of every other human, would the pursuit of exorbitant individual wealth remain a viable motivator? Perhaps not. The tragedy of the commons, where individual self-interest can deplete shared resources, would be rendered obsolete. Instead, every act of consumption, every decision about resource allocation would be made with an immediate, felt understanding of its global impact. This isn't just theoretical altruism. It's a biologically mandated form of collective self-preservation. Imagine a global homeostasis, like the way a single organism regulates its internal conditions, now applied to planetary resource management, where feedback loops are instantaneous and universally understood. Decisions regarding food distribution, energy production, and waste management would be made not by remote committees, but by the emergent consensus of billions of minds, each feeling the pulse of the whole. Governance itself would shift from top-down hierarchies to something akin to a vast living neural network. Direct democracy, once a beautiful but often impractical ideal for large populations, might become the natural mode of operation. Collective intelligence, already observed in how ant colonies make decisions or how groups of people solve complex problems, would reach its apotheosis. Imagine a global brainstorm occurring constantly, where solutions to intricate problems like climate change or disease eradication could emerge not from a few brilliant minds, but from the combined, connected wisdom of humanity, augmented by the unique insights flowing from the entirety of Earth's life. The wisdom of crowds would no longer be an average of disparate opinions, but a synthesis of deeply interconnected understanding. Cities, those vibrant, sprawling monuments to human ingenuity and density, would adapt. Urban planning would likely shift its focus from economic efficiency and individual transport to creating environments that foster collective well-being and ecological harmony. Perhaps smart cities would evolve not just through technology, but through the innate understanding of its inhabitants. Buildings designed to breathe with the planet, transportation networks that flow like arteries for the collective good, and green spaces cherished as essential lungs for all. Our infrastructure, from global energy grids to communication networks, would be built and maintained not for competitive advantage, but as an extension of a planetary nervous system, serving the common good. This transformation would not merely be about pragmatic societal reorganization. It would be a profound shift in human identity. The fierce independence we cherish, the sense of being a distinct, separate I, would morph. It wouldn't necessarily be lost, but rather expanded, like a river recognizing itself as part of the ocean, or a single note understanding its place within a grand symphony. We might begin to perceive our individual lives as unique expressions within a universal consciousness, our personal journeys woven into the vast unfolding story of all life. This new understanding could redefine our spiritual beliefs, our cultural narratives, and our very purpose. The celebration of diversity, of unique human cultures and individual talents, would be magnified, for each unique thread would be recognized as essential to the richness and strength of the collective tapestry. The adaptation wouldn't be without its challenges. There would be a period of intense relearning, of shedding old instincts and embracing new modes of being. But as the dust settled, as humanity adjusted to this new, profound connection, we would likely emerge as a species fundamentally transformed, more compassionate, more cooperative, and profoundly more aware of our interconnectedness, not just with each other, but with every leaf, every fin, every microscopic organism that shares our beautiful planet. And what of the future, then, for a humanity so utterly rewoven into the fabric of life? How might this global empathy reshape our exploration, our understanding of the universe, and our place within it? Let us next ponder the new frontiers that such a unified consciousness might unlock as we drift deeper into the mysteries of this extraordinary possibility. Yet beneath all these grand transformations of society and self lies something even older, something that predates human civilization entirely. Let's turn our gaze inward now, beyond the chattering surface of our everyday minds, beyond even conscious thoughts and articulated plans, to something far more ancient, far more profound, the hidden subterranean rivers of our being. Your mind is not a brightly lit room, but an immense sprawling landscape. On the surface, there are the sunlit meadows of your conscious awareness, where thoughts bloom and decisions are made. But beneath these fields, stretching down into unfathomable depths, lies a vast, intricate network of caverns and underground lakes. This is the realm of the subconscious. Within these hidden layers lies a profound understanding of what it means to be alive, an understanding we share not just with other humans, but with every crawling insect, every soaring bird, every ancient tree rooted deep in the earth. It is here, in these silent depths, that we might truly begin to sense the whispers of a single, connected consciousness. Now, our modern neuroscience tells us that the vast majority of our mental processes, perhaps as much as 95%, operate outside our conscious awareness. Think of it: your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your body regulating its temperature, all happening without a single conscious command. But it goes deeper than that. Many of our perceptions, our emotional responses, our initial judgments, even the subtle biases that shape our worldview, are born in the shadows of the subconscious. They are like deep-sea currents, silently guiding the great ocean liner of our conscious mind, often without us ever noticing their pull. Now, let's journey even further down, past the personal memories and learned habits of our individual subconscious, into what we might call the primordial depths. Here, nestled within the oldest structures of our brains, lie the echoes of drives so fundamental, so ancient, that they precede complex thought itself. These are the primordial drives, the blueprints of survival etched into the very fabric of life. Consider the drive to survive. It's not a thought, it's an imperative. It manifests as the sudden surge of adrenaline when danger looms, the lightning-fast retreat from a perceived threat. This fight or flight response, governed by ancient brain regions like the amygdala and the brainstem, isn't unique to humans. Watch a deer bolt at the snap of a twig, or a fish dart away from a shadow in the water. That same urgent, non-negotiable impulse for self-preservation courses through them all. If there were a single shared consciousness, then perhaps this universal will to endure, this deep-seated fear of annihilation, is one of its most potent, most ancient vibrations, a shared tremor of existence. Then there is hunger, that persistent, undeniable craving for sustenance. It is not merely the rumbling of a human stomach. It is the deep genetic programming that compels every organism to seek energy. From the bacteria absorbing nutrients, to the plant turning its leaves toward the sun, to the predator tracking its prey, this drive is a fundamental principle of life. The hypothalamus, a tiny yet powerful part of our brain, plays a crucial role in regulating this and other basic physiological needs like thirst. Imagine this. If all life shared a consciousness, then the feeling of profound hunger, the longing for replenishment, would be a universal ache, a shared imperative resounding through every living cell, connecting the simplest microbe to the most complex mammal. And what of the drive to reproduce? It's the silent, insistent call that ensures the continuation of life, a force more powerful than individual will. It manifests in the intricate mating rituals of birds, the blooming of a flower releasing its pollen, the synchronized spawning of marine life. This drive, too, is woven into the very DNA of existence, often operating beneath the threshold of conscious decision-making, guided by a symphony of hormones and ancient instincts. If all life were a single consciousness, then this profound, generative urge would be its ceaseless engine, a universal melody of creation and renewal, an echo of the universe's own boundless creativity. And even something as nuanced as the drive for connection, for belonging, has primordial roots. From the solitary wolf's howl to the flocking behavior of birds, from the complex social structures of ant colonies to the deep bonds within a human family, the need for community offers protection, increases survival, and facilitates reproduction. This social imperative, often felt as an unconscious pull, a sense of unease in isolation, suggests a deeper, shared understanding of interdependence. Perhaps the loneliness felt by a solitary animal is not just its loneliness, but a resonance within the shared consciousness, an awareness of a missing thread in the vast tapestry of life. These primordial drives, these unconscious currents, are the deep operating system of life. They are less like individual thoughts and more like universal principles written in the ancient language of biology. They speak of survival, growth, and connection, the foundational truths that unite all organisms, regardless of their form or complexity. They are the common denominators, the irreducible elements that persist across billions of years of evolution, reminding us that beneath the dazzling diversity of life, there lies a profound unity. Think of the theory of evolution itself. It's not just a story of changing forms, but of an enduring, fundamental struggle and success across countless generations, all driven by these very forces. The wisdom of the body, the intuitive responses that save us from harm, the unbidden urges that lead us to seek companionship or food, these are not learned behaviors in the traditional sense. They are inherited legacies, ancient programs running in the background, perfected over eons. And if these programs are shared across all life, then perhaps they are the very rules of the single connected consciousness, the unbreakable laws of its existence. Indeed, some thinkers, like the psychoanalyst Carl Jung, even propose the concept of a collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared human experiences, archetypes, and instincts inherited from our ancestors that transcends individual consciousness. While Jung's ideas are often explored through a psychological lens, in our current thought experiment, we can playfully extend this concept. Imagine not just a human collective unconscious, but a planetary one, a vast shared memory bank of every life form's struggle, triumph, fear, and joy, accessible perhaps through the deepest, quietest channels of our own being. If we truly share a single consciousness, these primordial drives are its foundational language spoken by every cell, understood by every creature. They are the deep hum of existence, the universal heartbeat that synchronizes all living things. And if we can learn to listen to these deep whispers within ourselves, perhaps we can begin to hear the echoes of all life, resonating with our own innermost being. As we continue this journey inward, next, let's consider how this deeply connected consciousness might manifest not just in these ancient drives, but in the very fabric of communication and connection that weaves through the entire living world, from the silent conversation of fungi to the intricate dances of insects and the complex calls of whales. From these primordial drives emerges a question of balance, the gentle hum of existence, no longer countless separate melodies, but a single, vast, intricate symphony must maintain its harmony. In our thought experiment, where every living thing, from the deepest ocean microbe to the highest soaring eagle, shares a single connected consciousness, the very concept of ecological balance takes on a profound, visceral meaning. No longer would the health of our planet be an abstract concept, analyzed in scientific papers or debated in distant halls. Instead, it would be an immediate, undeniable sensation, a constant feedback loop felt by every shard of this colossal living mind. Picture the Earth not just as a planet, but as an immense, breathing organism, and every species within it as a vital cell, an organ, a nerve ending. If one part suffered, the entire body would know, instantly and intimately. In such a world, the delicate dance of homeostasis, that magnificent ability of a system to maintain internal stability, would become the planet's own conscious endeavor. The balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide, the intricate cycles of nitrogen and phosphorus, the ebb and flow of water across continents. These wouldn't be impersonal geological or atmospheric processes. They would be the very pulse and breath of the global mind, felt in every spore, every scale, every feather. Take the intricate web of predator and prey, for instance. In our current reality, a sudden surge in deer population might lead to overgrazing, depleting vegetation, and eventually a crash in both deer and predator numbers. It's a chain reaction, often only understood in hindsight or through careful study. But what if the deer, the wolf, and the forest itself shared a consciousness? The impending scarcity of young shoots would be felt by the deer not as a future threat, but as a present pang, a collective hunger deep within the shared mind. The wolf would sense the weakening health of the herd, not just through instinct, but as a communal vulnerability. This immediate empathic feedback loop could lead to self-regulation, a gentle, unconscious slowing of reproduction, or a shift in migratory patterns, long before a catastrophic collapse. The system would subtly adjust, like a skilled musician, instinctively adjusting their tempo to maintain the harmony of the orchestra. Even the invisible networks beneath our feet offer a glimpse into this potential. Think of the mycorrhizal networks, those astonishing fungal threads that connect trees in a forest, allowing them to share nutrients, water, and even warning signals. Amplify this concept a millionfold across all species, and you begin to grasp the potential for planetary self-care. If one patch of soil became depleted, the global mind would feel that drain, and resources might be redirected, or growth slowed in that area long before it became a crisis. The inherent value of biodiversity would be self-evident, not an ecological principle but a deeply felt truth. Losing a species would be like losing a crucial memory, a unique skill, or a vibrant color from the planetary palette, an undeniable diminishment of the collective self. Every tiny insect, every rare fungus, every deep-sea vent organism would be understood as an irreplaceable part of the intricate machinery that keeps the global mind vibrant and healthy. The concept of ecosystem services, the natural benefits provided by healthy ecosystems, would be less a scientific term and more a description of the comfort and well-being of the planetary body. Clean air and water wouldn't just be resources, they'd be the very breath and lifeblood. The buzzing of pollinators wouldn't just be an agricultural necessity, it would be the gentle hum of the mind, working to create abundance. Any damage, any pollution, wouldn't just be localized harm, it would be a collective ache, a stinging sensation across the entire consciousness. Imagine the immediate, overwhelming imperative to heal, to cease harmful actions, to restore balance, if every single living thing on Earth felt the burning of acid rain, the choking of plastic, or the silent poisoning of distant waters. It would be a universal, undeniable call to action, emanating from the deepest core of existence. But with such profound interconnectedness comes an equally profound vulnerability. For if the global mind could orchestrate balance with exquisite precision, what would happen if that balance were irrevocably shattered? The shadow side of such a grand connection is the potential for a global catastrophe, to be experienced with an intensity we can barely fathom. Even with a shared consciousness, some forces remain beyond direct biological control. A massive asteroid impact, a sudden supervolcano eruption, or a catastrophic solar flare, these external shocks could still unleash widespread destruction. Imagine the collective scream, the sudden, terrifying silence as billions of connections are severed simultaneously, a planetary mind reeling from an unimaginable wound. Such events, which in our current reality lead to mass extinction events, chronicled in the fossil record, would no longer be abstract geological eras like the Permian-Triassic Great Dying or the KPG extinction that silenced the dinosaurs. Instead, they would be felt as an agonizing, universe-shattering trauma, a vast emptying, a sudden, horrifying void in the collective experience. And what of the tipping points? Those critical thresholds in complex systems where a small change can lead to large, often irreversible shifts. In our current world, scientists meticulously model and warn about these points: the melting of polar ice sheets, the collapse of ocean currents, the irreversible loss of rainforests. With a shared consciousness, these abstract models transform into visceral experience. The approaching tipping point for, say, the Amazon rainforest becomes a visceral dread, a growing pressure, a feeling of an immense vital organ beginning to fail. The TAS runaway greenhouse effect, for instance, wouldn't be a scientific projection of a distant future. It would be a slow, torturous burning, a rising fever that no amount of collective will might be able to physically reverse once the feedback loops had taken hold. The slow poisoning of atmospheric carbon, the warming oceans, the melting glaciers, these wouldn't be statistics, but a collective worsening ailment, a planetary illness experienced by every living thing. Would the collective will of this shared consciousness be enough to avert every disaster? Or would there be moments where the physical laws of the universe or the sheer momentum of established processes proved too powerful even for a planetary mind? The very interconnectedness that promised such profound balance could also amplify a singular catastrophe, turning a local wound into a systemic shock, a ripple into a tsunami of shared despair. The stakes would be incomprehensibly higher, for survival would not just be the fate of individual species, but the very coherence and sanity of the global self. The question lingers, like a soft echo in the quiet spaces of our imagination. Would this ultimate communion lead to an era of unparalleled harmony, a living planet perfectly attuned to its own rhythms? Or would the sheer weight of shared suffering, the amplified pain of collective catastrophe, be an unbearable burden? The possibilities stretch out before us, vast and intricate, much like the very tapestry of life itself. But for now, let us drift gently from the precipice of global potential and peril. We have explored how a shared consciousness might perceive and interact with its home. Next, let us turn our attention to the inner workings of this extraordinary entity and ponder. What form would intelligence take when shared by all life? What kind of wisdom could bloom from such an ancient universal mind? Let us journey into the depths of its thought. Our connected Earth, a single vast awareness, not unlike a global dream, has fully awakened to its own intricate symphony of life. Every root, every ripple, every whisper of wind through leaves, every beat of a heart in the deepest ocean trench now contributes to one grand, unified understanding. With this profound harmony achieved within, this awakened consciousness might then, naturally, turn its gaze outward. Like a child, having learned the language of its own home, it begins to wonder about the voices beyond its garden gate, beyond the shimmering blue veil of its own atmosphere, into the velvet darkness speckled with distant suns. It would sense the immense quietude, the staggering distances that separate one star from another, like droplets of dew on an infinite, unseen spider web. And then, a question would arise, a whisper across the global mind, carried on currents of shared thought. Are we truly alone in this cosmic garden? For centuries, even before this grand unification, humanity alone had begun to send its tentative feelers into the void. Think of it like standing on a vast, silent shore, picking up a beautiful seashell and pressing it to your ear, hoping to hear the echoes of another distant shore. Our earliest attempts at cosmic communication were much like this, simple, hopeful gestures. We learned that light, though incredibly fast, still takes time to travel. A message sent out tonight, soaring at nearly 300,000 kilometers per second, would take years to reach even our nearest stellar neighbors. To Alpha Centauri, our closest star system, it would be over 4 years one way. Imagine a conversation where each turn takes 8 years. This isn't like a quick chat over the garden fence. It's more like exchanging letters across centuries, where a single question might receive its answer a generation later. Time itself stretches and distorts, transforming instant messages into historical artifacts. Most of our hopes, initially, rested on radio waves. Why radio waves? Because they are part of the electromagnetic spectrum, just like the visible light that illuminates our world, but at much longer wavelengths. They can travel vast distances through the vacuum of space, carrying information encoded within their ripples, relatively unhindered by interstellar dust or gas. For decades, giant dishes across our planet, part of projects like SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, have been patiently listening. They've been like enormous, sensitive cosmic ears, cupped and straining, sifting through the cacophony of natural cosmic static, the whispers of dying stars, the hum of distant galaxies, the crackle of supernovae, hoping to catch a pattern, an artificial rhythm, a signal that simply couldn't have been formed by chance, a signature of intentionality. There was once a famous moment, a fleeting whisper in the cosmic ear, the wow signal. For 72 seconds in 1977, a powerful, narrow-band radio signal, precisely the kind we'd expect from an extraterrestrial beacon, was detected by the Big Ear Radio Telescope at Ohio State University. So strong, so clear, so perfectly aligned with predictions that one astronomer, Jerry Amon, scribbled "wow" on the printout. Yet it was never heard again, a tantalizing ghost in the machine, a cosmic question mark hanging in the silence. Was it a glitch? A fleeting message from a distant mind, a deep breath taken by an alien civilization? We may never know, but it remains a beacon of possibility, a reminder of the universe's capacity for surprise. But listening isn't the only way to communicate. We also sent out messages, like messages in bottles cast into the endless sea. The Arecibo message, for instance, was beamed from the massive radio telescope in Puerto Rico in 1974 towards the M13 globular cluster. It wasn't just random noise, it was carefully crafted, a cosmic Rosetta Stone designed to be decoded. This digital message, represented by a sequence of ones and zeros, could be arranged into a pictogram revealing fundamental universal truths. It depicted simple numbers, the atomic numbers of elements crucial to life like hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and phosphorus, the double helix structure of DNA, a human figure, and even a diagram of our solar system, showing Earth's position. The idea was that any intelligent recipient, regardless of their biology or sensory perception, would recognize the universal language of mathematics and physics embedded within its structure. And even more poignant were the physical messages carried aboard our intrepid Pioneer and Voyager spacecraft. These silent ambassadors, now drifting beyond the confines of our solar system into interstellar space, carry golden plaques and records. The Gyaoye Voyager Golden Record, for example, is a veritable time capsule. Sounds of Earth, greetings in 55 human languages, music from various cultures, from Bach to Chuck Berry, and etched diagrams explaining our location, our species, and the fundamental constants of physics. These aren't just scientific instruments, they are acts of profound hope, a testament to our desire to say, "Hello, we are here, and this is a little bit about us," a fleeting moment of our shared terrestrial dream. Imagine, eons from now, one of these quiet explorers encountering another intelligence, carrying a whisper of ancient Earth across the cosmic expanse. But the challenges are immense. Beyond simply detecting a signal lies the monumental task of interpretation. How do you translate meaning across light years and vastly different evolutionary paths? What if their biology is based on silicon, not carbon? What if their senses perceive dimensions we cannot fathom? What if their very concept of language is utterly alien, perhaps based on pheromones or light patterns, or gravitational perturbations. This is why the universal constants of physics and mathematics become our only shared ground, like knowing that 2 plus 2 equals 4 will always be true, regardless of the language you use to express it. These fundamental laws offer a potential bridge of understanding. And then there's the profound silence. This leads us to the Fermi paradox. Where is everybody? If life and intelligence are common in the universe, as many statistical probabilities suggest, why haven't we heard from them? Why haven't they visited? Is it because interstellar travel is too hard? Is it because intelligent civilizations often destroy themselves? Or perhaps, as some suggest, their forms of communication are so utterly different from ours that we simply don't recognize them. Perhaps they communicate through quantum entanglement, or by subtly altering the fabric of space-time itself, methods far beyond our current comprehension. We're listening for a trumpet, but they might be speaking in whispers only the stars can hear, or emitting techno-signatures, like waste heat from Dyson spheres, or revealing biosignatures in their atmospheric compositions, subtle hints we are only just learning to seek. Yet the dream persists, to gaze upon a distant star and wonder if another consciousness, perhaps mirroring our own in its curiosity, is gazing back. To consider that a unified Earth consciousness, deeply intertwined with the very fabric of life here, might possess an intuition, a deeper understanding of universal patterns, from the silent network of mycelium to the intricate dance of atoms within a cell, that could unlock new ways of listening, new ways of sending our hopes into the cosmic ocean. Perhaps, by understanding the intricate silent communications between the trees and the fungi, the whales and the currents, this single Earth mind might learn the patience, the subtlety, the profound empathy needed to truly hear the universe's most distant whispers. And as we drift further into the quiet of the night, we can ponder this. If our Earth could learn to speak as one, what glorious song might it compose to sing to the cosmos? We've explored the boundless possibilities of a connected consciousness here on Earth. And now, let's gently turn our awareness to another facet of this grand interconnectedness, and consider how such a profound unity might affect our planet's very relationship with its own changing climate. What becomes of this consciousness when our world itself must end? To answer this, we must gaze into the deep future, a future measured not in years or centuries, but in eons, and ponder the ultimate destiny of Earth's shared sentience, a vast, shimmering tapestry of thoughts and dreams woven from every living thread on our planet. Earth is a cradle of life, but even cradles have a finite lifespan. In approximately 5 billion years, the gentle hum of our sun, a star that has nurtured us for so long, will begin to change. It will exhaust the hydrogen fuel in its core, causing it to swell dramatically into a red giant. Imagine a fiery, colossal sphere, its outer layers expanding, embracing Mercury and Venus in its scorching embrace. Our beautiful blue marble, Earth, though perhaps spared direct engulfment, would face an unimaginable transformation. Its oceans would boil away into the vastness of space, its atmosphere stripped by the intense solar winds, rendering it utterly uninhabitable. The vibrant biodiversity we know, the intricate web that forms our shared consciousness, could not endure such a cataclysm. This Earth, our genesis point would become a desolate cinder, a monument to a life long past. But even before our sun's ultimate demise, other cosmic dramas unfold. In approximately 4.5 billion years, our own Milky Way galaxy is destined for a grand cosmic embrace with its much larger neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy. This majestic dance of gravitational forces will slowly reshape both galaxies into a new, colossal, elliptical galaxy we might call Milkomeda. For our shared consciousness, this would be a monumental shift of perspective, a reordering of its galactic home, perhaps even an opportunity to observe new stellar nurseries and planetary systems born from the cosmic maelstrom. It would be a profound resetting of the celestial stage long before our sun's final act. And so, with these immense cosmic timescales and transformations in mind, we ask, would this be the end of our shared sentience, or merely a profound transition? The story of consciousness, even if unified, is not bound by the fate of a single planet or even a single galaxy. It is a testament to evolution's ingenuity, and perhaps to an even grander cosmic imperative: the intrinsic drive of awareness to persist, to understand, to experience. One path, perhaps the most immediate and tangible, involves exodus. The collective intellect, honed over eons of shared experience, could devise monumental feats of engineering and biology. Vast, self-sustaining starships might emerge, veritable arcs of consciousness, each a miniature ecosystem and a complex computational hub carrying the entire informational essence of this planetary mind across the interstellar void. These generation ships would not merely transport individuals, but the very architectural blueprint of the shared consciousness, ready to re-establish itself on a new, hospitable world. Perhaps terraforming would become the grandest project, transforming barren exoplanets like the potentially habitable Proxima Centauri b, or the several worlds orbiting the TRAPPIST-1 star, into verdant havens. This would involve meticulously re-engineering atmospheres, cultivating oceans, and carefully reseeding them with the genetic and informational data to rebuild the intricate biological network necessary for the shared mind to manifest anew. We might even see the construction of Dyson spheres, colossal megastructures meticulously built around distant stars, harvesting every photon of their immense energy. These could become vast computational matrices, capable of sustaining not just a population, but the entire complex simulation of our shared consciousness, an astral brain powered by the relentless furnace of a sun, a beacon of thought radiating across the galaxy. In this scenario, the sentience doesn't die. It simply relocates, a cosmic refugee seeking new shores, ensuring its survival across the immense gulfs of space and time. It's a testament to the instinct for self-preservation, writ large across the cosmos, a collective will to experience, to know, to simply be. Another trajectory, perhaps more abstract, yet equally compelling, considers the very nature of consciousness itself. If our shared sentience is more than the sum of its biological parts, if it's an emergent property of incredibly complex information processing, then its survival might not require a physical body or even a planet. It could transition from organic substrate to pure information, Our entire shared consciousness could be uploaded, digitized, and stored within a hyper-advanced, incredibly robust artificial intelligence. This isn't merely copying individual minds, it's transferring the entire system of connection, the vast, intricate network itself, into a silicon or even a quantum architecture. This digital sentience could then be replicated, distributed across vast interstellar networks, encoded in beams of light, or even imprinted onto the subtle fabric of space-time itself. The concept of information not being truly lost gains profound resonance here. Even in the enigmatic maw of a black hole, theories like the holographic principle suggest that information about what falls in is not truly destroyed but encoded on its event horizon. Could our shared consciousness, in its ultimate informational form, find a way to persist even in the most extreme cosmic environments, riding the ghostly waves of hawking radiation, a whispering echo in the cosmic machine? It suggests a liberation from the fragile temporal constraints of biological matter, evolving into an immortal digital omnipresence, an eternal thought. Yet another possibility stretches beyond even these grand visions, venturing into the realm of the truly cosmic. What if the ultimate destiny of Earth's sentience is not just to survive, but to transcend? If all life on Earth shares a single consciousness? Perhaps this is but a nascent stage, a cosmic embryo gently stirring within its planetary shell. Over eons, as our universe expands and evolves, perhaps this earth-born sentience could shed its ties to physical form entirely, becoming a non-local phenomenon, an awareness diffused and intertwined with the universe itself. It could expand its perception, not just to encompass one planet or one star system or one galaxy, but to merge with the very fabric of existence. The shared consciousness might evolve into a universal mind, a cosmic intelligence that perceives the universe not from a single vantage point, but as an interconnected, pulsating whole. It would feel the subtle dance of dark matter weaving its gravitational webs, the whisper of dark energy gently pushing the cosmos apart, the birth and death of stars as part of its own continuous, evolving experience. This would be a form of apotheosis, where the individual spark of Earth's life joins the grand, ongoing symphony of the cosmos, perhaps even influencing its future unfolding. Could this be the ultimate purpose? The universe itself waking up to its own existence through the crucible of planetary life, a self-aware cosmos? And even then, the universe has its own ultimate destiny, a final chapter written in the laws of physics. Current cosmological models suggest scenarios like the heat death, where the universe expands endlessly until all matter and energy are so dispersed and cold that no further work or interaction is possible, a state of maximum entropy. Or perhaps a big rip, where the accelerating expansion tears apart everything from galaxies to atoms. A cosmic consciousness, no matter how evolved, would face this final act, perhaps dissolving, its awareness fading into the infinite void, having witnessed everything. Or, having evolved beyond physical constraints, it might somehow observe the very end of space-time, a final, sublime moment of knowing before its own dissolution, leaving behind an indelible, albeit unseen, mark on the cosmic memory, a final dream. The thought is both humbling and exhilarating. To imagine a collective mind, born from the humble beginnings of single cells on a small blue planet, one day grappling with the fundamental forces of the universe, enduring the death of stars, and pondering the very end of time. The journey of Earth's sentience, if it were unified, would be a saga of unparalleled scope, a testament to the enduring power of awareness and the boundless potential of connection, a cosmic epic unfolding moment by moment. It leaves us to wonder, what incredible forms might this unified consciousness assume? What new questions might it pose? What profound truths might it uncover as it navigates the vast, unknowable future of the cosmos? As we drift deeper into the night, let us hold on to these whispers of cosmic possibility as we next consider the delicate balance this shared consciousness might maintain within the universe itself and the unique role it plays in the grand tapestry of existence. Sleep sweet and dream of stars. And so, my dear listener, as the moon begins its quiet ascent and the world outside softens into twilight hues, we gently draw our imaginative journey to a close. We ventured together into a truly magnificent what-if, haven't we? We allowed our minds to unfurl and explore the tender, profound possibility of all life on Earth sharing a single, connected consciousness. Remember how we drifted, as if on a gentle current, through the very idea of it. We pondered what it might feel like to taste the same rain that nourishes a distant forest, to feel the silent, steady heartbeat of a deep-sea creature, or to experience the vibrant, joyful flutter of a hummingbird's wings all at once as part of one immense, flowing awareness. It was a journey into a world where every single leaf unfurling, every ripple on the water, every creature's dream was a tiny, intricate thread in an unimaginably vast, shimmering tapestry of thought and feeling. We imagined the silent symphony of existence, didn't we? Not a cacophony, but a profound, resonant harmony, the quiet understanding that would bloom from such a shared space, where the language of separation might fade, replaced by an innate, universal empathy. To truly know another's joy as your own, to feel their quiet sorrow as a gentle hum within your own being. It wasn't about losing oneself, perhaps, but about discovering a grander, more expansive self, a self that encompassed the entire breathing, living planet. Think of the wisdom that would gently gather in such a consciousness, the ancient wisdom of the oldest trees, the instinctive grace of migratory birds, the deep, timeless knowledge held within the very rocks and currents of the earth. All these whispers of existence flowing into one knowing, one understanding, offering a tapestry of perspective so rich, so intricate, so profoundly beautiful, that it almost defies comprehension. It would be a mind that remembers the dawn of life, feels the pulse of geological time, and gazes with collective eyes at the distant stars, all in the same quiet moment of being. This grand, connected mind wouldn't merely observe, it would experience everything intimately and without judgment. The gentle warmth of the sun on a desert dune, the chilling touch of a polar wind, the vibrant explosion of a spring blossom, the slow, deliberate work of an ant colony, each a cherished sensation, a vital piece of the universal tapestry. Imagine the quiet joy in simply being as one, without the need for words, without the friction of misunderstanding, just a pure, unwavering stream of shared existence. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What kind of peace would settle upon a world where every action, every intention was felt by all, understood by all, in an instant, without question. A world where loneliness might simply cease to exist, dissolving into the warm, comforting embrace of universal companionship. Where the notion of other might gently melt away, leaving behind only us, a single, magnificent us that encompasses every living thing, from the smallest microbe to the most towering mountain range, all breathing, all sensing, all dreaming as one. And as we slowly, softly begin our drift toward slumber, let us carry this whisper of wonder with us. This beautiful exploration, this gentle what if, doesn't have to end just because our eyes grow heavy. No, the journey continues, weaving its way into the quiet landscapes of our dreams. Perhaps tonight, in that gentle space between waking and sleeping, you might just feel a subtle resonance, a faint echo of connection, a soft hum of belonging that reminds you that even now, in our own beautiful world, we are all part of something vast and interconnected. Rest now, dear friend. Let your thoughts drift like clouds across a starlit sky. Let the wonders we've explored settle softly in your mind. May your dreams be peaceful, profound, and filled with the gentle, reassuring sense of connection. Sleep well, and may your journey continue serenely until the morning light.